Hello, everybody. We are the Geeks and the Degenerates, and we are continuing on our Toy Story adventure with the second one, Toy Story 2. There's no subtitle, folks, so sorry about that. Uh, we start with Buzz and Deep Space, and we hear, right, the fuck?
I did. Dude, you went silent on my end. What did you say?
You hear Darth Vader's breathing. The,
Oh yeah. Not gonna lie, I really love the scene
yeah,
where Buzz just had this whole infiltration mission, and he has this new belt on, and he has a weird run. He's going like this.
yeah,
I don't understand why, but anyway, as he's going through, he's pretty much wasting all of these robots. I was like, damn, you know, it'd be cool if they made a Buzz Lightyear
no, we haven't. All these years later.
movie. Yeah.
And as he's firing at Zurg, you hear like fucking X-wing and Tie Fighter sounds. Like what's happening? And then it dawns on me like, right, this was released in 1999, same year as the Phantom Menace.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So pretty much they were really backing it. And I think this is when Disney was like,
that Star
maybe
Wars
we
franchise.
could buy Star Wars. it
Something.
was a years of planning,
Yeah,
years of waiting.
yeah, and it was 10 years ago that they bought them, so their wish came true.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but Zurg does blast the top of Buzz Lightyear like how Maul is in half. Like, what the fuck? Huh? How is this kid's moving?
And we get to like this elevator scene. Oh,
I don't
wait,
know.
no, that's later on.
That's later
I'm
on.
sorry, I got those mixed up.
Find out it's a video game, and you zoom out to the real world, and you're like, wow, this is the major upgrade.
Oh yeah, it was. Like all the plastics, they still look plastic, but like they look fine to a
Yeah.
degree. I mean, like they're supposed to look like plastic, but once you get to the like Andy looks way better.
Yeah.
Andy doesn't look like he's made out of like Chinese plastic no more. You guys smell the factory chemicals from the screen.
Right.
It's way better. Way more matte.
And then
So
if
I'm
you
okay with that.
pay attention to Rex's details, you're like, that does look like plastic that they would use. Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, it does look like plastic that they would use. Even like, I just found out that it was really hard to one of the toys. They had a really hard time animating Slinky.
Yeah.
I mean, he is just a dog, but of course,
The
he has a
slinky part.
spring in the middle. Yeah,
Uh, and then you find out that Andy's going to cowboy camp, and he's taking Woody because it matches the theme. But he's playing with him too hard, and he rips his arm off. And you're like, oh no, what happens now? And he's like, well, can't take with you, take me, you with me now. Sorry, that's not saying that for some reason. I'll,
you okay?
I'm gonna shelve you.
I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take a take. I'm sorry, man had a stroke for a second.
We're only just beginning, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But he shelves Woody, and all the toys are like, oh damn.
Yeah, but like, okay, I want to give Andy this. He was kind of smart on picking what toy was his favorite that he could actually play hard with,
Yeah,
because um, Woody is half plastic, half, well, I would say 70% cotton and like
yeah,
stuffing, and probably 30% plastic. So you could probably go ham on that thing, rip his arm off, and then you could just sew it back on.
yeah,
So I'm like, okay, you know what? It makes sense. You don't want this thing wrecking in the camp, because you don't know what kid you would find in, cowboy camp might pretty much break your own toy. But
yeah,
you see him get left behind in the shelf.
yeah.
And
as
yeah,
he's
go on.
stalking, you see a commercial for Al's Toy Barn. And you see Al, who's voiced by Wayne Knight, who's like, oh, right. The guy who was Dennis Nedry in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, he's always this sleazy fat corporation guy.
Yeah, yeah. Which fits too, because he's always stealing shit too.
Yeah, but you know what's weird though? I haven't seen that actor in anything for a while now,
Me
except
too.
for that one Punisher movie.
Warzone.
Yeah. He was this like gun guy
Yeah, I haven't seen him
in
in anything.
Warzone. I think he's probably taking a break from Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing
Uh,
of recent.
but as he's sulking, he meets Wheezy, who's like, I thought the mom was gonna repair you. He's like, nope, I have a broken speaker and I've been here for a while.
Yeah, that I was about to mention that. It was like, yeah, no, he's just gonna leave you on that shelf, and he's gonna come back once he gets back from cowboy camp. But you see, Wheezy, he was one of like the older toys that broke, and he was just left on the shelf. And I was like, that's a little bit of a sad, uh, you know, situation. Like, my toys are collecting dust right now, and I'm not even playing with them.
I mean,
And the entire theme of this movie was toys are meant to be played, not displayed. So I feel bad, but at the same time, these things are worth a lot.
but yeah, the mom's having a yard sale while Andy's at camp, and she takes Wheezy with her, and Woody has to do this Metal Gear rescue mission when he's leaning off the side of Buster.
Linnea, the side of the horse kind of
Yeah.
tactic. Wait, was he inside like a box or like a bucket moving
Oh.
around? I forgot.
No, he was just on Buster.
He was just on Buster. But yeah, he had he had a big boss moment, which was fitting.
Yeah.
He rescues Wheezy, but at the cost of rescuing Wheezy, one of the guys in the yard sale kind of spots him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, this is actually a rare toy. And yeah, of course, he has to play dead. And he asked the mom, like, hey, this is for sale. And the mom sees that, oh, Woody's in the box. Is like, oh, hell no. No, that's my son's favorite toy. You cannot take it. And he's like, I'll pay how much, like, whatever. And I was like, no, it's not for sale. And she puts him in the box, and the man, of course, couldn't take no for an answer.
Mm-hmm.
Just steals it and books it. Anyway.
Yeah. Buzz tries to steal him, but he obviously can't stop a car. So he organizes a rescue mission because, like, hey, Woody rescued me the first movie. It's only right that I return the favor. And then we go to Al's apartment. I think it's the apartment, yeah.
I do love the setup for it though. Like they're trying to profile this man. Like they're trying to look for him like a coffee. They're popping up every image. And then they found the chicken man. That's him.
That's him. And then in Al's apartment, you meet Bullseye, Jesse, and the Prospector. Prospector, by the way, is voiced by Kelsey Grammer. Yeah.
Holy shit!
You didn't know? You didn't know?
No, what the?
Yeah. The best part of X-Men Last Stand is Stinky Pete.
Oh my god! What the hell? What you doing?
And Al's happy because, like, oh my god, I have a complete set of these really rare toys, and Woody finds out, like, oh my god, I was big in the 60s. I'm guessing the 60s.
Oh yeah, 50s. He was
50s.
like a puppet show in the 50s.
Yeah.
And of course, it kind of got into what he said.
Yeah.
Like he was the main star, so to him, he kind of felt like he had a hierarchy here. Like these guys were the side characters, while Woody is the main character. And of course, he kind of had this like nose up in the air,
Yeah.
kind of deal.
I do
When
like
it came to
when they're watching the old reels, he's like, oh, what's the next episode? And Jesse's like, it was cancelled. Why? And Prospector's like, Sputnik. We were beaten by space. What can you do?
what? Hey, wait, why does that connect? I forgot the plot of that.
Because Sputnik, after seeing people go to space, gets you like, you know what? Cowboys aren't that cool anymore.
Oh yeah, okay, astronauts are a thing now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the same theme as the first movie,
Yeah.
now that you think of it.
Yeah. But then what he realizes that, oh, if I go to Japan, I will never see Andy again.
Yeah, but then again, you will last longer, and people will still appreciate it.
Yeah. At the same time, he finds out that, oh, if I leave this collection set, Jesse, Prospector, and Bullseye all go back to storage for God knows how long.
But then again, Japan ain't a bad idea if you got figures like these. Hey man, they waited for you in Japan.
And at the same time, you find out that Buzz and the crew have made it to the other side of the city, and they're like trying to cross the street with cones. And since they're cones,
There we go. There's the Metal Gear theme coming in.
All the cars go crazy trying to avoid the cones. Just tapping one is breaking the law in the U.S. So they're causing thousands of damage, worth of like property damage. That's the right term. Yeah.
Oh, me, they're toys. Do you think they care? Do you think they pay taxes?
I do. Like the big truck that's carrying like building equipment. Like, well, that's a couple $10,000 right there.
Yeah, and what costs it? Moving cones. Can you explain it? Nah.
No. And then they make it to the toy store and they're like, all right, let's split up and try to look for this aisle.
Which I love this thing though. It's like, as you're going around the store, you kind of wish. Look, the last time we had a store this, like a toy store this big, was in SM South Mall, and they kind of took it down. Like, legit, ceiling was so high up, filled to the brim of toys.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, those are the days of like gigantic toy stores for the US and the Philippines. Like I remember that. What was it? Toy Store? No, Toy Kingdom. We're like,
Toy Kingdom,
holy
yeah,
shit.
it was Toy Kingdom, and like, that's what made me want to keep going to a toy store. It was just to venture and just browse.
That's why when, not to rant on it, but like that's why when they said Toys R Us was coming here, and then you see it, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like, Toy Kingdom was like IKEA now. Like,
Yeah.
if y'all don't know, the Philippines has the biggest IKEA.
Did you go? Oh shit.
IKEA represent. I bought their jacket.
Nice.
But yeah, like it was so huge, and it was sad to say that they kind of took it down.
Yeah.
Because they had to make a new wing for the mall.
Yeah, and now it's just a teensy tiny version of itself. So that's a shame.
Dude. If you saw the wall of Gundam kits back in the day, you would be like so daunted.
Yeah,
and
it was
overwhelmed.
by section. Like, oh, that's for Zoids, that's for Gundam, that's for
Yeah.
whatever. I think we're going on to talk about this.
Man, I mean, it's the theme.
Yeah. And Buzz sees like a wall of Buzz Lightyears. It's like one of them has a new utility belt. It's like, you know what? I could use one of those.
Oh yeah, and he takes it out, and then one of the Buzz things like, I was like, oh, insubordination. You're a rogue Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
And then he starts stuffing him into one of the boxes.
Yeah.
Imagine being ripped off though, seeing a Buzz Lightyear without the belt.
Yeah. It's like, oh, that's lame now.
Yeah, gets a recall.
And then the other toys go to the island of Barbie, and they're giving a tour by Barbie, who's voiced by, I believe, Jodie Benson, who is the voice of Ariel. Meanwhile, the Al accidentally literally rips off Woody's arm. It's like, oh fuck, Japan will not accept this. I need to call someone.
Oh, we kind of skipped over that really, really good scene. I think this opened up like a weird fascination with ASMR and like the things you could watch on YouTube, where this man pretty much just does a whole restoration on a toy.
Yeah.
For some reason, for a kid, kind of like, yeah, like you find yourself. It's like one of those videos you find yourself watching at 3 a.m. You're like, I don't care about this toy, but how he restores it is so fascinating.
Yeah. Oh, also before that, Woody tries to sneak out because he has to go back to Andy, and he tries to take some keys out of Al, but the TV turns on, and it's a bit gross because again, you see the fine details, like you see the cheese on the guy's hands, like that's nasty,
Yeah,
man.
the cheese puff. He's like wiping it on his shirt. I was like, oh, don't stop it.
And then the TV turns on, and you think that Jesse turns it on, but it's like, what are you talking about? I didn't do anything.
Yeah, but of course, Woody's like, oh, you don't want me to go to Japan because you know I'm better than you.
Yeah.
I was like, Woody, why'd you gotta be an asshole?
Yeah. Or no, it's more like, oh, you just don't want me to go away because I have a kid and you don't.
Oh, right.
And then he's like, oh my god, I'm like brand new again. And Jesse's like, oh, good for you. At least you can go back to Andy, right? And he's like,
Yeah.
what's your problem?
And then we get the whole backstory and Bonnie. Sorry,
Jesse.
Jesse. I was like, you know the song that they chose for this?
Yeah.
Drew a hole in my heart when I was a kid.
Every time I hear it out in the open, I'm just like, I'm sad now.
Exactly. I was like, and people are putting it now in TikTok, by the way. Like,
why?
They're putting the song in TikTok and they're putting like sad videos on it. I was like, I don't need this right now.
Yeah, it's just such a heartbreaking video, and it's like, I know what it's like to be in love with someone who, even though you're a toy, you're their whole world, and you, we're the best of friends, and you feel like you're alive. To them,
Yeah.
you're everything. And she was my world, and I was hers.
I gotta give the owner credit though. This lady grew up to the point where I think she had a job, she was moving,
Yeah.
and she has her own car now. She held on to that toy for a long time and kept her really in good condition.
Mm.
I gotta give respect to the past owner, but yes, of course, Jessie felt abandoned because she was donated.
Yeah. Strikes the theme of, I can't believe I was abandoned by the person I love the most, and now I'm here. Like,
Yeah.
fuck. Again, things don't really register as a kid, but now we're like, oh man, that just hurts.
Yeah, like for sure, when you're a kid, you're like, oh yeah, I don't ever want to abandon my toy. Then you kind of start implying that thing into everyday life, or like, Toy Story gave me lessons that I didn't know I knew.
Right? And since Al needs to fax the photos to the Japanese,
the Japanese museum.
like that's one of the toys, like, oh, Woody's with Al, and we have to hop on this bag. I don't know why he's like, that's strange, my bag seems heavier.
No, I will say though, if y'all seen a Japanese toy museum, it's not a bad rap. Like, I think Woody would have been fine. Like, you remember, like, in the newer, like, Toy Story, that they were, like, in this, thrift shop? What was it? Or, like, a toy collector thrift shop? It looked fine. Like, they had their own community, so I feel like in a toy museum, Woody would have been fine.
Yeah.
Look, I don't want Andy happy, I'm sorry.
Bam.
Yes.
How dare you. But yeah, Woody's finally like, you know what? I do like the idea of going to Japan, and I can't stand to have you guys in cold storage forever, so I'm gonna go with you. At the same time, the gang and New Buzz climb the elevator, and New Buzz, of course, is like, I'm a space ranger. Obviously, this is my reality. And they're like, what the
And you gotta love how the toys, yeah, all the toys are like, uh-oh.
Like,
We
back
got
to
a
square
problem.
one.
Right? Yeah, exactly. But like, regular Buzz, original Buzz, was able to like get out of
I don't know how he escapes the wiring though. Like, I can't just yoink the toy out.
Space Ranger training.
I guess. But if I yank one of those toys out with the wire, and their arms wouldn't come off.
Dude, come on, we both know that toys were built different back in the day.
That's true.
They weren't as fragile. Like, you go toss that thing up in the air and it would still been one
Fine.
piece.
But since he knocks a bunch of boxes down, old Buzz unexpectedly and unknowingly awakens Zurg.
You gotta love the Evil Dead reference here, where he's like busting out of his coffin, toy coffin.
And finally, the gang makes it to the apartment, and they're like, "How do we get to Woody? Use your head." And then you cut to Rex being used as a battering ram.
But you gotta love it, like it zooms out of the vent, and you just, ow! You just hear a little nudge.
Like, oh, poor Rex. But they make it in time. They're like, Woody, come on, we have to go. And he's like, I don't want to go.
Yeah. Like he's telling him this great deal in Japan. I agree.
Yeah. At the same time, old Buzz comes in and he's like, which one's the new one? Which one's the actual one and which one's the fake one? And then Buzz just hits the
Ring
oxygen.
bell.
No, he just hits the helmet button. The new Buzz is like, oh my god, I can't breathe.
Yeah, I love that the face on Buzz just like presses the button.
And the toys are just like, But he tells Buzz like, I don't want to go. I want to go to Japan. But he's like, well, what about Andy? We came all this way, you asshole.
Yeah, and Buzz pretty much convinces Woody to be like, hey, toys are meant to be played, not displayed.
Yeah.
And
And if you want to be in the glass case, being admired but never loved again, go ahead. We're
Go
going
ahead.
back to Andy.
yeah, but like, what happened next? Like,
And then,
is there a way to the airport, right?
no, first what he sees like a commercial of a kid playing with the old Woody dolls. Like, Buzz is right.
All right, which was way bigger compared to this, though.
Yeah, I'm like, I guess Andy got a later version, I guess.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. And then he's like, wait, Jesse can come with me, and so can Bullseye and Prospector.
No, you know what I hate about this movie?
What?
It gave me the late realization that toys are worth a lot. Because, yeah, no, like when I watched it when I was like, what, 5, 6? I had the toy of the Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3. And it moves, like, you know, the one's kind of skin feeling rubber.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And since I was a kid, I abused the shit out of that thing. I bit on it, and I was like, you know, I tore the tail off. And then last year, I found out that that Spinosaurus in box cost $1,000 as a collector's item. I was like, and I hated it so fucking much.
You poor bastard. Anyway,
I
made
mean,
the same
dude,
mistake.
we had a shit ton of toys where we kind of abused it, and later on we found out the resale value of those things.
Yeah. I think the only valuable thing I have is like an original Black Series Boba Fett somewhere there.
Yeah, well, you didn't play with that thing.
Yeah, yeah. I got it when I was in my adulthood, but I did have Anakin from Episode 3, like original packaging and all. But of course, I didn't appreciate it the way it was meant to be. So I just played with it, and then now I'm like, oh wow, that's easy. $500. Fuck.
Well,
Well,
it was loved, as this movie taught us.
yeah. But he's like, Jesse, Bullseye, Prospector, you can come with me. And then you see Prospector just screwing on the screws of the van. It's like, nope, we're going to Japan.
Lumbago. Like, he looks like Uncle from Red Dead Redemption.
It's like, do you know what it's like to be the only toy no one ever picked? And then in my mind, I'm like, I can see that.
That is so true. Like, I get it. You watch this like really popular show and everybody wants to get the toy of it. Well, of course, there's that one figure that nobody wants.
Yeah.
I get it where he's coming from. You know.
Yeah. It's like collecting Batman, the animated figures. You're like, I like Batman and Joker, Bane, Robin. But there's like, do I really need...
Penguin. Do you really want a penguin?
Do I really need a penguin? Not really. But as the gang hears Woody's cries of like, help, or like, it's okay, we're good, they come back, but Al's there, and he's rushing to go to the airport because he already made a deal with the museum guy. And he's like, can I add another 0? The guy's like, sure, why not? It's like, oh fuck, for once in my life, things might be going my way. Poor guy.
A couple of no good toys come in and ruin your life.
Alright?
Well, I mean, he stole the figures.
Yeah, so you got what you give.
Yeah, you don't steal things, kids.
Yeah.
Life lesson.
And then there's a confrontation with a new Buzz and Zurg while the other toys are escaping. And this is the part that people made fun of me for years because Zurg's like, you're beaten. And like Buzz is like, new Buzz is like, you killed my father. No, I am your father. For years, Every time someone said that till 2005, I'm like, I like Toy Story 2.
Oh, you son of a bitch! Dude, don't worry. I was the same.
People just look at me like, you idiot.
What's the buzz line? And everybody's like, you didn't watch Star Wars? I'm 7.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm 8. What do you want?
Yeah. I love the buzz reaction. No!
Yeah. And when Rex knocks him out, he's like, Father.
Yeah. And like once he got out of the apartment, like they started to rekindle the lost years of father and son bonding. I was like,
go along,
okay.
Dad, and bonk. Oh, you're good, son.
I love that. I love that bit though.
Yeah.
I really do.
And then they decide to catch up with Al. They have to drive a taxi, which should not make sense at all, but somehow it does. Question mark?
What?
Huh?
What do you mean? Oh, like they were
Toys.
able to drive the taxi. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Like, I don't know how you're making this make sense, but you do you.
I mean, like probably 5 toys working together, like piloting a Megazord, are way better drivers than I am. Like, oddly enough.
And Mr. Potato Head rescues the aliens. It's the claw aliens.
Daddy.
Daddy. And then they make it to the airport in time. Of course, in the conveyor belt, it's not like a one straight line to that specific airplane. You're like, oh fuck, it's a whole lineup.
Which was a really fun scene to watch. Just them using whatever those in the luggage. Just like what was it? Golf clubs and
like the first green suitcase, which is Al's, the same as Al's. They're like, is it what do you know? It's a camera set, really expensive camera set for $19.99.
And then for some reason Ham was like, oh damn, that's pretty good. It has a little bit of knowledge on it. I was like,
how would you know?
Okay.
And then Buzz finds the suitcase, Al's suitcase, but he meets Prospector instead, and he just decks Buzz. Like, oh fuck.
Not gonna lie, Stinky Beef hits.
Yeah.
Like a motherfucker.
And then Woody tries to stop him, but Pete gets the upper hand and is ripping Woody's arm off. Like, damn, Pete.
And what is that pickaxe made out of?
Right?
I don't think that's meant for kids. Maybe that's why you weren't picked.
Exactly.
You were a hazard.
Exactly. One of those ones that was called back before the save for Pete was put back in line.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's about to dead ass stick his pickaxe in Woody's head. You're like, fuck, this movie goes places sometimes. But he's distracted by the flash of the new camera. And they're like, I know where he should go. And he's in this girl's Barbie bag. It's like, don't worry about Susie, she's an artist. And you see like cyberpunk-esque makeup, like, oh well, have fun, Pete.
I'm like, hey man, you're gonna be in a room full with Barbies. I think you're gonna be fine. You can be the new Hugh Hefner of the toys, so.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be fine. Unless she turns out to be like Sid, then you're fucked. But
maybe she's like the girl version of Sid. Who knows?
Maybe. But they rescue Bullseye, but Jessie, unfortunately, it's too late for her because she slides down to the airplane, and Woody has to go after her. And they make it to the airplane, and you see, once he opens the suitcase, you see poor Jessie just crawled up, like, I'm all alone again.
Yeah, like, what if he doesn't want me? Like, Andy. And I was like, man, that kind of hurts. Again, you can apply this to real life. Like, maybe you got out of a really bad relationship, and now you're kind of traumatized that nobody wants you. It's kind of like that deal. And they're showing this to kids.
Yeah.
Somewhat subliminally showing them, like, somebody still wants you. Like, later down in the future, you could use these lessons. Good on you, Pixar. Good on the writing as well.
What? Do you like the moment where the baggage guy's like, we need any more luggage? And then they're trying to say, like, nope, make it for the next flight. Like, oh, okay. That's how it is.
So that's how it works.
Yeah. And then you said last time that, of course, the truck driver can't really see the sparks going because of the reflection in the mirror. But I question why the pilot doesn't see the blinking light of like, oh, something's open. Fuck, as we're taking off.
It's like, all that's missing It's like as the toys gets rescued, the plane just blows up midair.
Or all the luggage gets sucked out. Like, well, I guess we're being sued by all of these passengers.
It blows a hole in the plane, starts sucking everybody out, jettisoning everybody.
But since the plane is taking off at God knows how, I forgot the speed of where planes take off. But Buzz is trying to catch up, and Woody's like, no, he's not going to make it. So he uses his own cord to attach himself to a wheel.
They had this like Fast 6 moment.
Yeah. It's like, let's find out what happens at the end of Woody's trying to. But she's like, it was cancelled. What do you mean? Like, well, let's find out. And then they do this Indiana Jones Star Wars thing, and they swing back to Buzz, and they're safe. And you see another plane just land. They're just like, oh, that was close.
Just,
and Andy makes it home, and you're like, how did the toys get home, though? And then you see the cargo of the airport.
yeah, the cargo truck was just outside.
Yeah. And the neighbors are like, what the fuck happened?
How this happened? No surveillance cameras back in the 90s.
Yes, I guess not. Or no one in traffic being like, that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And he's like, wow, ma'am, new toys. And mom's like, yeah, new toys. Okay, sure.
What?
And you see the beginning of a romance between Buzz and Jesse. You're like, I dig it. I buy it.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah. I like how Jesse helps Buster out the door because Andy's a dick apparently because he leaves the dog in so he can't go out to pee. Rescues him from a disaster and Buzz's wings just open up. As a kid, I'm like, what does that mean? Now I'm like, that could mean a lot of things.
Like, look, you'd interpret it as innocently as possible. It could just be him blushing, but something coming out of you kind of indicates something else.
Oh well, I'll leave it as blushing. I'll leave it as blushing.
Very cool.
And then at the end, Woody and Buzz are like, thanks for the help. Yeah, we're always gonna be together. We're always gonna be Andy's toys because Andy's gonna be a kid forever, right? And we'll always have each other. Interesting foreshadowing. And for 11 years, we had to wait for 11 years for the end. Well, what we thought.
Oh, but it's fitting though. Like, for sure, we're gonna get into it once we do Toy Story 3. But like, the fact that we had to wait a little bit to get Andy to the proper age of somebody who's gonna leave for college, I'd say they stuck with continuity, and I can't hate that.
Yeah. Like, that's why I'm just like, why did you make a fourth one then? Not that the fourth one's bad, it's just like a big, like, why though?
Same.
Yeah.
I kind of lost it on the fourth. Well, I'm saying that now because we're not gonna do a video on it because we're only doing the three trilogies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What would you rate this one?
Oh. I would say animation got way better.
Yeah.
Of course, they had 10 years. 10 years, right?
No, 4 years between first one and second one.
How are they now? 1996?
No, 1995 to 1999.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I can't do that. Anyway, yeah, they had a couple more years of advancement and retouching. They knew what the problem was, and they fixed it.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy. You could see that Pixar was probably one of the best animation studios to date, besides, of course, some Japanese 2D animation. But 3D on its own, Pixar was the pioneers of, like, really good, very detailed 3D animation. And I really appreciate, them doing a complete 180 turn on, like, hey, we can actually do it really well now. But I love this movie so much. Like, it's part of my childhood. It taught me a lot of lessons I didn't know I'd learned. A lot of messages that, like, oh, I would have not gotten that when I was a kid, but for some reason, it just stuck in my head. Yeah. And Pixar does an amazing job. Well, with their older movies, they did a really amazing job subliminally shoving these lessons into our minds nudging these lessons into our minds. And I will say today's Pixar kind of lacks that.
Really
Like,
now.
yeah, the subtlety is not there anymore. It's like, bam, life lesson. And I kind of miss the subtlety. Like, you can just read into it or interpret it however you would like. But yeah, that's why I appreciate the older Pixar.
Alright.
But yeah, I'm giving this one a 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Because like again, animation got way better, the plot got way better. They explored the difference of how toys are appreciated and loved. I will say displaying a toy isn't bad, because sometimes you can't play with them all the time.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I just had fun with this. And oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, Pixar had this thing with the end credits and
Yeah.
showing bloopers.
From the
And I
animation
missed-
itself.
Yeah, and I miss it.
Same
They
here.
put, like they put the cameo of like Bug's Life in this movie. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe they're filming Bug's Life 2. Bug's Life 2. And you see Buzz chopping down the leaves that the bugs were on.
It's like,
I was
I
like-
guess I know it ends then.
Yeah. They didn't make it.
I'll go a bit higher than you. I'll give this a 9 because, as you said, like it leaves these subtle lessons, and then you're like, it's like experience life a bit more, and then come back to this. Like, oh, I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
again, it sinks into you.
yeah. Good story, good animation. Again, like you said, there's a definite upgrade, and this movie just makes these characters more endearing, which is crazy because it's like started out as like, hey, what if toys could talk? And now these are some of the most iconic characters ever. Like they're just fucking, one's a fucking cowboy from a make-believe show, and one's a space ranger from another make-believe show.
And now it's a legit movie.
Yeah. And yeah, he had a standalone show that turned into a movie. Who knew?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the show, the Buzz Lightyear show was really sick. I love
Yeah.
that lady who's like color blue, red hair.
Ooh, I think that was my first crush as a kid.
Yeah, she was thick. That's why.
Yeah, it's a damn good movie. And it's nice to know that in between waiting, Pixar also provided us with a lot of more classics. So good on them. But yeah, that has been our video on Toy Story 2. What do you guys think? Comment below. Please be cool. You can find us at Facebook at facebook.com/KeysandDegenerates. We react to trailers, live stream video games, and about our lives from time to time.
Yeah.
Individually, you can find me at Yandalphus1995 on IG and Twitter. How about you?
Man, you gotta stop forgetting. By the way, if you don't like seeing our faces, we also have Spotify under the same name. You can find me at JohnGOM on Instagram. It is my art account.
And please remember to stay safe, wear a mask, social distance, and get vaccinated if you can. Get your booster for fuck's sake. And we'll see you on the next one. And you can guess already what the next one is. Bye. What?
Monsters Inc.